Hello, this is my 77 Chevy pickup, and it has some issues. Okay, I had to come in the garage because it's loud. Anyway, truck has some problems. If you start it up in the morning, it doesn't start at all. You gotta pump the gas 10 times, and then you have to keep pumping the gas to keep it running until it warms up enough. Also, if you give it a feather amount of throttle, it kind of goes and then dies. I bought a second carburetor on eBay for about $120 with shipping and tax. We will not be totally rebuilding this carburetor. We'll just be kind of freshening it up. Now, what tools will you need for this? Well, you'll need Torx bits. You'll need at least a T25 and a T20. I have one of these things. Works great. You may need a flathead screwdriver for the top plate. 50-50, they're either a Torx 25 or a flathead screwdriver. You will need some needle nose pliers or a small screwdriver or dainty fingers to take the little clips off. Carb cleaner, and I recommend the good stuff like Lucas or CRC, but obviously paper towels or shop towels. And so what we'll want to do first is we'll want to take off the accelerator pump, and we can do that by taking off this little clip right here. Just like that. Got the pin off. I'm going to put it in a box in case I need it later. And then this will just kind of slide out. This is spring loaded, and so it'll potentially jump up or down. Next, we want to take off our choke lever, and so that's the same concept. There's a little, I don't know if you can see it down there. Down here, there's another one of those little pins. Just like that. Once I have these two disconnected here, I'm going to go ahead and slip this out of here. It should just pop right out. And put that in my box. There's a difference between the two of them because this one doesn't have a little keyway on it. And this one does. And so you've got to rotate it there. And you can see, if I can get it on there, it has a little like key shape. So key shape for the choke, and then the not key shape for the accelerator pump. Now we need to take this whole top plate off, and so we have one, two, well, I'll get up here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Torx bits that we need to take off of here, and so I'm going to take all of these off, and we'll come back. And then a real quick note, this is the back of the carburetor here. You do have your choke holding little bracket here. Remember to put that back on when you put it back together. So now we have all 8 of our screws removed. They are all the same length, so don't worry about like keeping them in the specific holes they go in. They're all the same. Can't really see here. There we go. Oh, the gasket's so weird. Okay, well, the gasket's not normally like that, but there we go. We got the top of our carburetor off. I'll just flip that upside down over here, and we'll focus on that later. We're going to focus on this now, see how bad it was. And so now you see it's a little gunky in there, but it's really not bad. So they used good fuel in this carburetor, it seems. Maybe a bit of ethanol. So we're going to start with the secondaries here. These are also T25. The fronts are T25. The little accelerator pump, like injector thing here, a T20. Okay, that was easy. So this is our secondary little area. You can see it's a little gunky. So we're gonna put that on the right, and it's gonna go back on the right as we see it. However you can remember that, good, that's fine. Then we take the other one out. I'll speed through this and I'll be right back. So there's number 2. See, same thing, kind of gunky. And then this is what we're left with. Like I said, this guy comes right out. And we can clean that up really nicely. This can only go in there one way. It physically will not fit in there if you try to put it in the wrong way. And now we're just gonna kind of take a blade and we're going to scrape the gasket that's on there off of it. And then we'll use a brush and clean up the rest. And before I lose it, I'm going to take the spring out of here for the accelerator pump that pumps it back up. Don't want to lose that whenever I start spraying this with carb cleaner. We're going to ignore that. That's a future project. But yeah, I'm just going to go in here and kind of blast things out. See, that's going through the jet up here. Blast it back down the other way. Works like a treat. I'm going to go on this little rod. That's coming out like it should. Those are just the bolt holes. We don't care about that. So, good there. Good there. I don't want to blast my camera with this because it's kind of bad. Okay, so that's the secondary. For the record, the mains are always the worst with the gaskets. You can see there's a lot of gasket material left on here. It did not come off clean at all, and it does not want to come off. There's gasket inside, and so I'm going to take a very small screwdriver and kind of scrape that out. I'm going to take my blade and scrape this off. So now primary, same thing. We have inside here, which I'll do right now. Good. Clean up the other end of that as well. I'll blast into the little tiny jet. Ooh boy, that one's kind of clogged up. Okay, that's good. Top of it, don't know if you saw that. Works like a dream. Clean off the top of the jet. And then I believe it's just that right there. So yeah, that's good. Now we just do the other two. And so now I'm spraying down in here. Obviously, I already did that to clear it out. And then there's a little jet here that kind of feeds your primaries. I'm going to blast something into there. So see, that works great. And then for this particular carburetor, these are the gaskets that we're going to use. They went like this with a triangle pointed towards the little guy there. And so you see we have us a nice new gasket. My next choice for cleaning is the accelerator pump outlet, or whatever you want to call it. So off we go with the accelerator pump outlet jet thing. And that just pops right off real easy. The gasket should come off fairly easily. And it's usually right about this point where I realize that I forgot to put this back in. So I'm going to quickly take these off and put it back in because I'm an idiot. And now that I've fixed my mistake, we can put these back in here for the third time now. We're also going to take off the floats. Your float pin is right here. It may be a bit stubborn. It may be really loose. These are really loose. We're going to be very careful not to lose our needle here, because this is what stops the fuel from coming in once the carb bowl is full. My top gasket actually came off very easily. Yours might not. You might have to use a scraper, but that's okay. Next, we're going to take the accelerator pump plunger out of here. There's one bolt on the side. You'll be able to find it. And then the plunger is attached to this bracket with an S-clip. You'll figure that out. Very easy. As far as rebuilding the plunger, that little gasket that pushes the fuel through the tube, it just slips right off. Those little tabs hold it in there. So we'll get the old one off, and then we'll put the new one on. It slips right on. Get our little S-hook. Old needle was in pretty bad shape, so I'm using the new one. So we're just going to drop that in there. Good as new. Got our top gasket. Fits beautifully. Be sure your metering rods go through there. It looks like we're going to have to put the floats on afterwards. So off those come. And on this goes. Remember the metering rods. Just like that. Ethanol safe, good to go. Perfect. Don't forget your spring in the accelerator pump. Make sure that's in there. These guys are back down. All our gaskets have been replaced and everything has been cleaned out. I've noticed that I forgot to put my idle screw back in, so we'll do that quickly. Fully seated. Half. 1. 1.5. And now we can put this in here. We're going to want to be very careful to make our metering rods go in the correct location. Just like that. Hold it down because your carburetor is going to want to spring up because of this guy here. And get you one bolt started. I usually do the bolt near the accelerator pump. Just kind of snug down. We're good. Now we can put the other 7. And don't forget your choke cable bracket. That will go here. Just like so. Make sure all 8 are tight, which I've just done. Now we can hook up our little rods. We have the accelerator pump one, which gets hooked in here, if you remember. And then we're going to try the middle. We might have to adjust it later. Because remember, there is 3 holes on the accelerator pump itself. And so I'm doing the middle one because that will squirt a medium amount of fuel. The kit comes with new clips, so I'm going to use those. And then remember, our little keyed one goes on the choke. You have to put it on the bottom here first. Then you can put it in the top. And then you put your little pin, your bobby pin on there. So, carburetor's rebuilt. I'm going to pop it back on the truck, and we're going to see if it does better. So off comes the old carburetor. Alright, there we go. Kind of hard to do with one hand. Yes. No pumps. Truck's been sitting overnight, so it's cold, and I do mean cold. So we're gonna see if it'll start without pumping the gas. Let's see. Hey, there we go. I'm quite glad that that worked. So hopefully this video helped you, and hopefully now you're confident enough to rebuild a carburetor yourself. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. So, as usual, you be good while I'm gone. I'll see you next time. Have a good week.